you're here, what are the emotions? You know, you're only a few days away from fighting Josh Emmett for the interim featherweight title. I know you were, when we spoke to you in Dallas, you were a guest fighter. You were pretty focused on getting Volkanovski on this card, but you have Josh Emmett for the interim title. So what are your thoughts on Josh as an opponent?
My thoughts on Josh as an opponent. I think he's a really dangerous opponent. I think he can make some damage if he gets to connect a single punch, and so I'm gonna have to be really careful with him. He's a guy that I really respect. He's doing this for the right reasons, and I expecting him to bring the best of him. So it's a war as always.
You fought like Max Holloway, the Zombie, and Jeremy Stevens, and all these guys. How does Josh compare to those? Do you feel like you fought tougher competition getting here than you will on Sunday?
No, I just think it's the same thing. Every time that I step into the octagon, I cannot disrespect the guy in front of me. Because he's the best opponent that I could have at the moment. Plus me. I'm always fighting myself instead of the other guy. I'm trying to win against myself every single day. My demons. That's about it. But talking about Josh Emmett, I think he's a really dangerous opponent. So I'm respecting him because of that. And yeah, just be smart in the fight.
Obviously, you were calling for either this title shot or this interim title shot, but now that it's here, we're only a few days removed. You got the title shot that you wanted. What are the emotions now that camp's over? You're in the country. Yair is here. I know some people were nervous not seeing him on embedded for a bit, that he might not even make it. Was there any part of you that was just nervous until you finally get into the octagon?
No, I'm having a great time. I'm trying to live in the present, whereas I'm always looking ahead and always looking in the future, and I feel like I'm never having fun. But we came out here early. We stayed in South Fremantle, and it's a little beach town that's south of here. It's awesome. It's like we were going to the beach every day. We found some coffee shops, like great seafood. The people are nothing but amazing and so kind, and just been trying to take it all in. This reminds me a lot of my UFC debut when I took a fight on a 5-day notice in the Netherlands. I flew across the world to Rotterdam, took it all in, first time really out of the country, and that kicked off my wife and I's, I guess, just travel bug, like becoming obsessed with it. So this reminds me a lot of it, and I'm trying to kind of go back and do similar things. And with Yair, no, I wasn't concerned too much about that. I saw a lot of people saying they were worried about that and the fight wasn't going to happen, but we're all trying to achieve the same thing. So this is such a important moment for myself, and it just gets me that much closer to my ultimate goal of become the undisputed world champion. So there's nothing that was going to stop me. I said, I don't care who I fight, where I fight, when I fight, I will be there. They don't even have to ask me. I actually just signed the contract the other week just because we were dealing with some other things, and so it's kind of funny. But yeah, no, I was going to be here no matter what.
And I'm sure you visualize getting the belt wrapped around you in Australia here. So would you feel like a champion? Like when Justin Gaethje won, he threw the belt on the ground, said it wasn't the real belt because he hadn't fought Khabib yet. But then when Dustin Poirier won, he viewed it as a real championship, considering the journey it took for him to get here.
I mean, the journey's been long. It's been like 10 years for me to get here to this point finally. And, it's just, I don't want to be disrespectful and saying there is not like the true belt or whatever. It's just what it is. We're like being honest. If I get to fight for like the actual belt, then that will be the belt. If the actual champion decides not to come back to the 145 pounds, then then the champion of the division is whoever has the interim belt. That's it. That's who it is.
And how do you see that main event between Volkanovski and Islam playing out?
I just think I'm not counting out Alexander Volkanovski because I know he's capable of doing a lot of things in that cage. I just think Islam uses his weapons better, and I think Alexander is going to have to be really, really smart in order for him to get the win. And I think Islam has better chances to win, honestly, but I don't count Alexander Volkanovski out of the fight.
Is that normal to sign the contracts that close to the fight, or is this just
it was just a different thing, and we had just some other stuff. But it's kind of funny. Like I just joke with my wife and friends. I'm like, it's not even official yet, but but in my eyes, it is.
And you did mention your ultimate goal is to be the undisputed featherweight champion. Was it important to have this fight on the same card as Alex fighting in the main event, just so, because like he said, he's going to fight the winner. He has no plans of dropping that featherweight belt, but assuming you both win, you're on the same timeline. Was it important to be on the same card as him?
Yeah, I didn't really mind. It's just the interim title is such it's a huge accomplishment. So I don't think we needed to fight on the same card because different weights, but it makes for something special because I'm on a historic event, a historic pay-per-view card. Pound for pound number one against pound for pound number two, lightweight versus featherweight champion, and we're co-headlining. It's one of the biggest, I think, fights of the year, and who knows? We're going to see how it turns out. But yeah, so it is important to be out here, and but I just have to focus on winning first, and then I'll sit back and tune in for that fight.
Well, I'm sure you visualized the moment of the belt being wrapped around your waist here in Perth. Would you be a fighter like when Justin Gaethje won? He threw the belt on the ground, said this isn't real. On the flip side, Dustin Poirier, he treated it like he had won the belt because of the journey that it took to get him there.
Yeah, I just talked to Bisping and Anik and Cruz in the back about this, and I'm not going to throw it on the ground, but in my eyes, there's only one featherweight champion, and that's Alexander Volkanovski. So this is more like a number one contender belt. It gives me feedback on how good I am and leads me in the right direction to where I want to go. But I have to get through Yair first in order to do so. So I'm solely focused on him at the moment.
And after the Volk Holloway number 3 fight, and they were talking about who's next, did you feel like you were the rightful person to be next? Because it could have gone kind of any of 3 ways with Alan and Emmett in the discussion as well.
Yeah, I always get like kind of the same questions, but the true answer to all of those questions is we're gonna fight each other. Like, we are on the same division, we are too close to each other, and whomever is winning, eventually is gonna fight the top guys in the game. So it's like a mix, you're always gonna have like the tougher opponents in front of you. So it doesn't matter if I'm not fighting Max Holloway or Allen right now or any other guy in the division. I think eventually it will happen. It's just a matter of time, and that's it.
And with the way your fight with Brian Ortega finished and going into your next fight, it wasn't the ideal way to finish a fight. So does that kind of sit in the back of your mind going into your next fight? Like, I hope this fight actually finishes as a fight?
Well, that's up to how you see it, right? Because I did everything. It was in my hands to finish the fight. It's sad that people think that Brian Ortega's arms falling to the ground by itself, the shoulder, by itself, by no reason. It's just stupid to think that way. But if people wants to look down to that win, that victory, it's okay with me. I know what I did, and if people doesn't understand, then I'm fine with that.
Speaking of Yair, what do you make of him as an opponent stylistically? Do you like this matchup? He's incredibly dynamic both on the ground and on his feet. Just what do you make of him as an opponent overall?
Yeah, he's a great fighter. He's ranked number 2 for a reason. He's one of the best in the world also. So I focus on myself, and even though I have training partners that can't emulate who I'm fighting to the T because everyone's unique in their own. And he is so dynamic and elusive and explosive and crafty. You don't know what he's gonna throw at you, but I've watched so much film on him. I've brought in just like my friend and training partner Andre Fili. He's fought him. He has similar body style. Even Slava Claus. He's my buddy, and he's a world champion kickboxer. He's thrown a lot of the things that Yair throws, but I'm prepared the best of my ability, and I'm just going to go in there and execute my game plan and capitalize on things that I don't think he'll be able to correct in that 10-week camp, and I'm going to beat him to the punch.